Hi everyone, Dave here, back with another video, and today we're going to do something that I talked about doing last Star Wars Day, and I didn't do it, so I was going to save it for this Star Wars Day, but we're doing it early because just with everything going on in my life right now, the move and everything, and just a bunch of other stuff, I haven't had time to think of any new video ideas. So I decided to get a jump start on our review, or my review. Well, it's ours because we're watching it together. I guess of Star Wars Visions. I'm gonna do this in chunks, the same way that I did my Jujutsu Kaisen review a while back, which was like one of the first reviews that I did on my channel, where I reviewed it like 2 arcs at a time. This is gonna be 2 episodes at a time, and they're not even like full-length episodes, so these videos might be a little shorter, but knowing me, I tend to ramble, so I'll probably find a way to make this overly long and way longer than it needs to be. But like most of my videos, it's just gonna be me talking, us kind of, shooting the shiz. I'm trying not to cuss as much because that helps in the algorithm, so that's fun for me. What was I saying? Yeah, so this video, I'm not gonna have any overlay, no video. I'm just gonna, I took notes on the first 2 episodes. We're gonna talk about it. Feel free to play a game, read some manga, whatever, play this video in the background. And I hope you enjoy it. If you have any thoughts on Star Wars Visions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And like I said, we're gonna do the first 2 today. The next video we'll do the next 2, and so on until we're done. So let me just start with a few overview thoughts on the idea of Star Wars Visions. For those who don't know, which I'm sure if you're a Star Wars fan or an anime fan or both, you're aware of Star Wars Visions, but it's a series on Disney Plus where it's, different Star Wars stories. It's an anthology series, so it's not like one continuous storyline, but it's every episode is done by a different anime studio, and it's such a smart and clever idea. I think Star Wars, just as a franchise, really lends itself well to anime and to manga and to, that Eastern style of media, just by its, theme, by Star Wars's themes, and its, it's good versus evil, stuff. So I think a Star Wars anime, like, I really would love to see a full-fledged Star Wars anime at some point. I feel like that would be really cool. There have been a few pretty decent Star Wars manga, so to see that make the jump to anime, I think would be really fun. But anyway, let's break down the actual episodes, starting with episode number 1. This is a Duel by, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Kamikaze Dayuga. I hope I pronounced that right, but Kamikaze Dayuga is a Duel. So the first thing that jumps out about the Duel is its art style. It's in black and white, and it has little splashes of color, the lightsabers, certain lights on the droids, certain lights on the ships, give that little splash of color to like keep you, engaged. But for the most part, it's in black and white. And that mixed with the plot, and preemptive spoiler warning, it's kind of hard to talk about these without giving spoilers because they're so short, so I can't really delve into my points without talking about the specifics. So apologies for that. I'll try to be as brief as I can with certain details because I don't want to spoil stuff, but I kind of have to a degree. But anyway, the plot and the art style. The plot is like this lone wanderer kind of wanders, quite literally wanders into this town, and while he's there, this gang of bandits show up, where they're really like stormtroopers led by a Sith, and they attack the town, blah blah blah. And it felt, between that and the black and white art style, it felt like a Kurosawa film. And I'm a big fan of Akira Kurosawa. I love his work. He's done a lot of samurai films, stuff similar to, well, obviously Seven Samurai, like Rashomon. Like, the bandits that come in and attack this town, and this guy or soldier, samurai, whoever, who didn't want to be there, just happens to have to take over and fight off the threat. So it really felt, as much as it's an ode to Star Wars, it also felt like an ode to Kurosawa, which I found really just cool and fun. I think, let me see. So yeah, I feel like it was just an interesting setting, along with the main character being interesting. We don't know anything about this guy, and we're probably never going to see him again. I don't even think they give him a name, but he kind of wanders in, him and his droid just wandering out of nowhere. And also he holds his lightsaber like it's a katana, like he takes it out of the sheath and it's already, lit or however extended or whatever. But the cool thing about him, or the interesting thing about him, is his lightsaber blade is red. So this guy is not a Jedi, but also he goes against the Sith that come in. So he's not really a Sith either. And also, I gotta jump over to the actual combat. It being in black and white makes this animation very fluid, very, fun to watch. His fight with the Sith that shows up, like she has a lightsaber umbrella, which is really cool. I've never seen a weapon like that before. Like she puts her lightsaber blade into like an umbrella thing, and like how an umbrella comes out and there's like the spokes that come out, and those are all lightsaber blades, which is cool. And she spins it around and whatever. So that was sick. I will say the ending to the duel was a little anticlimactic because it just kind of ends. I won't spoil how it ends, but it's such like throughout its its fluidity, like its action. It's like, ooh, wow, this is a cool fight, and then it just kind of ends. I don't know. It was a little, but that anticlimactic, but that could just be me. But anyway, I wanted to touch back on this main character because I think it's just great writing that you're able to not really say much about a character, but yet also make him incredibly interesting. And to also do that in like 15 minutes, because these episodes, again, are short. They're little bite-sized, like half episodes. So to do that in 15 minutes, too, is also just even more impressive. Because at the end, we see, like, this guy, obviously, like we said, he's not a Jedi because his lightsaber blade is red. He's not really a Sith because he's not helping them. He's actually going against them. He's trying to help these innocent townspeople. But then we see at the end, when he, defeats the bad guy Jedi, the Sith. I've said that many times. When he defeats the Sith he was fighting, he takes the crystal out of her lightsaber blade and he opens his cloak or his robe or whatever, and he puts it in there. But then you can see that he has other crystals, which it's like, oh, what is this guy doing? Is he a Jedi who just happens to have a red blade and he's hunting down Sith? Or is he a former Sith that is trying to repent for his ways and he's hunting down Sith that way? Or is he just some random dude that likes to unalive Sith and take their lightsaber crystals? I don't know. And those answers we're never gonna get those answers, unfortunately, because this is obviously a one-off thing. But it's so interesting, and like I said, that just means that just shows such clever and such inventive and such good writing to be able to do all that with pretty limited dialogue and also a limited runtime. I find that to be really interesting. A lot of the story was through its visuals, which is just very cool and very clever. So yeah, again, there's not a whole lot to say with these because they're so short, but the duel was really good. The art style was great. The story was interesting. The characters, for it being so short, were really fleshed out. It was a great first episode, and it definitely showed the pinnacle of what a Star Wars anime could be. Basically just a Kurosawa film, but with Star Wars stuff. I love it. It's awesome. Episode 2 was admittedly a bit of a step back, at least for me, and that was Studio I hope I pronounced this right again. Studio Colorido. It's like Colorado, but like Edo. Their Studio Colorido's Tatooine Rhapsody. Boba Fett's in it, so that's cool. I will say a thing about this episode that I thought was really interesting is it focuses on a band. The main characters of this episode are in like a rock band. And that's not something, at least for me, that I ever really feel like we see in Star Wars. Like a band, like the only band I know of in Star Wars is the Cantina Band, also on Tatooine, which is really funny. You got two bands in the entire galaxy, and they both happen to exist on the same planet. But yeah, so it tells a surprisingly human story. Although it's a bit corny, it's a story of friendship. Their one guitar player is a Hutt, or does he play bass? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But he gets captured or kidnapped or whatever because he doesn't want to go with the Hutt ways, and he's gonna get, so like his friends decide to go save him or whatever. But it's like I said, it's a little corny because like they save him through the power of friendship and rock and roll, man. Like, and that works. Spoiler alert, that works. This one was definitely more geared towards kids, and also as a 26-year-old man, that's something that I and all of us just have to be okay with, and I am okay with it, is the fact that in this day and age, Star Wars, 90% of it is for the kids. And I'm pretty sure it's kind of sort of always been that way to a degree. At least since like episode 1, like the Phantom Menace, type deal. It's a kids thing, and then we as adults can like take what we want from it. So this episode was definitely for kids. There's like a musical number, like they sing a song, and there's not really much action. It's more of just like, this is our friendship and the power of jams, man. This can save the day. Like that's the whole thing. And then Jabba, the main singer, the main character, is like, hey Jabba, do you want to be our manager? And then Jabba's like, yeah. And then he decides to not, take out the other dude. So it's like, okay, cool. I guess the day is saved through rock and roll. That's how life works. That's totally what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's very typical anime. There's a screaming in the rain scene. Like it hits all the marks. The animation is really good. It's a little the colors are vibrant. It's not, this one isn't in black and white. It's crisp. So it looks good. It's a good looking anime. But honestly, there's not much to say. I will say at the beginning though, it's kind of interesting that the main character, they show him, with his lightsaber running away from like blaster fire and explosions, which makes me think that it could have been Order 66. I don't know that. They don't outright say, but like, why would they be shooting? And he's a kid too, so why else would somebody just be shooting at a Padawan for no reason? Pretty sure it was Order 66. And these episodes, I don't believe, are canon by any means. But if it was, then that means it's yet another Jedi that Order 66 didn't take out. Like, I feel like we keep getting more pop up throughout, Star Wars lore just because. So then it's like, oh, so there were more. So the Sith really kind of dropped the ball on that one, to wipe all the Jedi out. And then they didn't. So I don't know what that has to do with anything. I just find that funny. But yeah, Tatooine Rhapsody, it's a little more kiddie, a little more, juvenile is the best word I can think of, but that's not even a negative because it's fine. It's fine, but it's just kind of like, especially coming out of the Duel, where it was, definitely a bit more of a, not mature in the sense of like gory or whatever, but it definitely had a bit more, seriousness to it. And then going to this where it's like, oh, we're a band and rock and roll and blah, like, it, again, nothing against it. It's fine, but just a little, so, But yeah, that's kind of all I gotta say about that one. And with that, wraps up the first episode of this little mini review micro series of Star Wars Visions. In the next video of this, we'll tackle the next 2 episodes. I don't know when that will be, but we'll get around to it. Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 16 years in prison. I just got that pop up on my phone, so I guess that's good. So anyway, yeah, the sound of people shoveling outside means I gotta go. So I will see you guys in the next video. Also, thank you again for 200 subs. I know I mentioned it in a previous video, but we hit it, and we're at like 220 something as of time of recording this video. So that's really cool. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.